Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to a new edition of Driving and the News. I say good morning because it is morning at the time of me recording. You might be watching this in the afternoon or in the evening. So if that's the case, good afternoon or good evening. We're going to get right into the news, but first I just wanted to thank everyone for listening and watching these almost daily videos. I know that your time is very, very important, and believe me when I tell you that it means a lot to me when I look at my channel and I see the views and I see the likes, I see the comments. I try to read all the comments, and just wanted to encourage folks to like the video and subscribe, because that will help the channel be more out there, especially when people search for things relating to the news. All right, let's get started with the news.
I'm in HD1 New York.
This is Lin-Manuel Miranda. You're listening to 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
53 degrees now, nice and clear. Humidity 89%. The winds north of 3, gusting to 17. We're at 53, going up to a mostly sunny 70 in Central Park. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Sarah Milano's our service aide. Justin Schrager is at the editor's desk. I'm Susan Richard.
All the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good morning. It's 53 degrees at 8 o'clock on this Friday, November 4th. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. The FBI announces there are credible threats to synagogues in New Jersey. Glenn Schuck with our story. The Nets suspend Kyrie Irving, who offers an apology. News from Pfizer and BioNTech on its new COVID-19 booster. Campaigning ramping up as we inch closer to midterm elections next week. And this weekend is daylight saving. Cue the argument about whether we should have daylight saving. Sports, the Astros take Game 5 of the World Series to go up 3-2 over the Phillies. The Rangers lost, but the Islanders and the Devils keep winning. Thursday Night Football, the Eagles remain undefeated, beating the Houston Texans. AccuWeather calling for areas of clouds and fog for a time this morning, otherwise unseasonably warm this afternoon with a high around 70. Wins News Time, 8:01. That's time for traffic and transit with Karen Stewart.
All right, we're going to start with what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound GW Bridge has got a 45-minute wait for the upper, over 30, about a 40-minute wait for the lower, and we're 25 minutes, which is great, inbound of the Lincoln and the Holland tunnels. Now, in New Jersey, the southbound Turnpike car lanes at 8 still has an accident. 2 lanes are blocked, and we've got a bunch going on in Westchester and Rockland. Rockland first, northbound New York State Thruway before exit 10 for South Nyack. We've got an accident in the left lane. Northbound Palisades Parkway, north of exit 16 in Stony Point. We've got a disabled in the right lane. Now Westchester, 684 southbound at exit 9. We've got an accident with injuries there in the left. And the southbound Springbrook, just past Hospital Road in Hawthorne, has an overturned vehicle. And the right and center lanes there are shut down. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. We are fabuloso. We look great over on the southern state, the northern state, and the LIE. No major delays at all 3 of the Big Three. The LIE in Queens is going to be very heavy from 188th Street to Woodhaven Boulevard, again from Maurice Avenue to the BQE, and that's about it for the LIE right now. Alternate side parking rules and regulations, they are in effect and were sponsored by Jackpocket, letting you play official state lottery games on your phone. Use code radio for a free Mega Millions or Powerball. 18 or older to play. If you have a gambling problem or want help, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Please visit jackpocket.com/TOS for full terms. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones, breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
The FBI has announced that it has received what it calls credible information of a broad threat to synagogues in New Jersey. 1010 Wins reporter Glenn Schuck is in Teaneck this morning.
The FBI asking that synagogues take all security precautions to protect community and facility and to stay alert. We spoke with Congressman Josh Gottheimer, who'll be at the synagogue on Englewood Avenue later this morning to pray with congregants.
We're obviously in touch with our synagogues. So they're taking action. Law enforcement is all over this. And so I want people to feel safe. We've got best people on the case here, and obviously the FBI and all law enforcement focused on this.
There is a large Jewish population here in Teaneck. Local police certainly have their hands full protecting many sites. Governor Murphy says he's closely monitoring the situation to make sure all houses of worship are protected. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Teaneck.
Now, the latest on the Kyrie Irving front. The Brooklyn Nets have suspended him for a minimum of 5 games. On Instagram, after midnight, he issued an apology.
It just wasn't good enough for the Brooklyn Nets. The team suspended Kyrie Irving for 5 games after they say he failed to disavow anti-Semitism. His last chance was at a press conference Thursday night.
I took my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue.
After his suspension, Irving said in a late-night post on Instagram that he wanted to clarify any confusion, that he's sorry to the Jewish community. On Newsline with Bridget Quinn, Scott Richmond with the New Jersey, New York Anti-Defamation League said that this is a step in the right direction.
He's put out a statement saying how sorry he is about it, how much he abhors anti-Semitism.
Darius Ramsey's 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Barclays Center.
Wins News Time 8:04. Pfizer says it's seeing some very good results with its updated vaccine.
After taking blood samples from recently vaccinated people and measuring antibodies in a lab, Pfizer says its updated bivalent shot performs better against the current BA.5 Omicron subvariant compared to the company's original shot. The new booster produces antibody responses 3 to 4 times higher than the original formula. Newer subvariants such as BQ1 and BQ1.1 are slowly overtaking the proportion of estimated cases. It's not clear how well the new bivalent boosters will work against the newer Omicron subvariants. Todd Ant, ABC News.
Meanwhile, the European Commission is granting approval to a new monoclonal antibody seen as a preventative measure against RSV infection in young babies. It is not yet available in the United States. An arrest in yesterday morning's rape of a female jogger in the West Village.
His name is Carl Fanner. He's 29 years old and homeless, and the NYPD says he's the one who raped the woman on Pier 45 in Hudson River Park at 2 minutes to 6 in the morning. The police also arrested him for 2 previous sexual assaults, one in October on the FDR Drive Service Road, the other in March on Pier 40. Meanwhile, in Hudson River Park, Pier 45 was closed most of the day because of the investigation. Rose passed by and was horrified to learn how the victim was grabbed from behind.
It's terrifying. I think we're all the worst possible fear. I have young kids. Can't imagine. Generally feel like 6 a.m. would be a fairly safe time to be out here.
In this newest case, the victim was able to flag down another jogger who called the police. Carol Dioria, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Hudson River Park.
Quick check of AccuWeather, and the main word is mild. We'll have some clouds and fog for a time this morning, but otherwise unseasonably warm this afternoon with sunshine, a high around 70. Mild tonight with a low around 60. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, even warmer, high 74. And then for Marathon Sunday, quite warm and more humid with clouds and some sunshine. Temperatures at the start of the race be around 65. Then an afternoon high near the current record of 74, which was set in 2015. Nice day to watch the race, but for the runners, they usually like it about 20 degrees cooler than that. Wins News Time, 8:07. In the New York gubernatorial race, Governor Kathy Hochul called on some marquee supporters yesterday. Vice President Harris and former Secretary of State and New York Senator Hillary Clinton.
I've known Kathy Hochul for a long time. She and I have worked together. I really appreciate the way she's bringing new leadership and stability and new hope for our future to New York.
Republican challenger Lee Zeldin responding to the Democrats' rally, speaking to 1010 Wins.
There's a big enthusiasm gap, and the Democrats are trying to figure out any new trick they can come up with to inject enthusiasm with people who are just not excited. For us, we have been focusing on the issues that matter most to New Yorkers.
On the national front, President Biden was in California for rallies and fundraisers ahead of the midterm election.
This election, this off-year election, is going to matter a great deal. It's going to determine not what happens this next year and the next couple of years. It's going to determine the direction of the country for at least a decade or more. Not a joke.
Meanwhile, former President Trump was in Sioux City, Iowa, again falsely claiming that the 2020 election was stolen and hinting again at running again.
In order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay?
1010 Wins election coverage is sponsored by AARP New York. Get voting information you can trust at aarp.org/NY votes. Now this message, life is a journey. Wear comfortable shoes. Go to ericshoes.com. That is ericshoes.com. Wins News Time 8:09. All eyes on Wall Street, and economic analysts across our area and the country are waiting on the latest Labor Department jobs report scheduled out later this morning. That's the last employment statistics before the midterm elections. This is Bankrate.com's Mark Hamrick.
The consensus among economists is that just over 200,000 jobs were added last month after 263,000 in payroll gains for September. The unemployment rate, recently at 3.5%, is likely to rise whether in this next reading or in future months.
But it apparently won't be a day of job gains at Twitter.
Twitter notifying its 7,500 workers by email that many of them will not have a job there after Friday. The email saying the company knows it's difficult but must make the layoffs to ensure Twitter's success. The firings will affect the company's sales, trust and safety, marketing, product engineering, and legal departments. Elon Musk trying to find a way to profit from his $44 billion purchase.
That's correspondent Andy Field.
Well, there you have it. A quick snippet of this morning's news. So follow and subscribe to my channel. You give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the world. Or in this case, the New York metro area. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. And we'll see you on the next Driving and the News.